Ever wondered who was the architect behind Japan's peaceful Edo period? Well, meet Tokugawa Ieyasu. Tokugawa Ieyasu, a name etched into the annals of Japanese history, was a formidable shogun in the early Edo period. His story is a riveting tale of power, strategy, and vision. Born into a time of constant warfare, Ieyasu's journey from a hostage child to one of the most powerful shoguns in Japan is nothing short of remarkable. He rose through the ranks, weathered storms of political turmoil, and eventually seized control of the entire country. His rise to power was not just a story of military prowess, but also of strategic alliances, shrewd politics, and a keen understanding of human nature. But Ieyasu's influence didn't stop at the battlefield. His vision extended far beyond, into the very fabric of Japanese society. Ieyasu was not just a conqueror, but a visionary leader who sought to bring peace and stability to a war-torn Japan. He implemented a series of policies that would fundamentally reshape Japanese society and lay the groundwork for over 2 centuries of peace and prosperity, a period now known as the Edo period. From the one country, one castle law that curtailed the power of the regional lords, to the Tokusei Ordinance aimed at improving the lives of the common people, Ieyasu's policies were transformative. He introduced social reforms to quell the chaos of the Sengoku period, set up systems to balance power within the shogunate, and even took steps to control the influence of temples and shrines. But he didn't stop at maintaining peace and order. Ieyasu also spurred economic growth by encouraging commerce and the development of towns. His policies fostered a thriving merchant class, leading to the prosperity of cities like Edo, now known as Tokyo. In essence, Tokugawa Ieyasu was a master strategist, both on the battlefield and in the corridors of power. His policies not only quelled the fires of war, but also set Japan on a path of stability and growth. His legacy is still felt today, centuries after his reign. Let's dive deeper into the policies of this influential shogun, shall we? Imagine a land where each region could only have one castle. That was the reality under Ieyasu's one country, one castle ordinance. Picture this, a world where the power of the daimyo, the feudal lords of Japan, was balanced on the existence of a singular castle per region. This was the unique vision brought to life by Tokugawa Ieyasu, the shogun who shaped the early Edo period. Ieyasu's one country, one castle law was a masterstroke in the art of power management. It was a simple yet effective rule. Each country could only own one castle. But why was this law so significant, you might ask? Well, it's all about control. Prior to this ordinance, the daimyo had gained considerable power through Toyotomi Hideyoshi's Taiko Kenchi, a land survey that massively increased their wealth and influence. However, with this new law, Ieyasu was able to rein in the daimyo's power. He created a system where the shogunate, the military government, could exercise more control over the daimyo. This law restricted their armament, which in turn limited their capacity for military expansion. But it wasn't just about control. It had a much deeper, more strategic intent. This law made the daimyo cautious about building and renovating castles. It was a clever move that prevented excessive military expansion, a common cause of conflict and instability in feudal societies. By doing so, Ieyasu was laying the groundwork for a peaceful era. He was subtly shaping a society where the thirst for power was kept in check, where stability could be achieved without the need for constant warfare. This ordinance brought about a significant shift in the power dynamics of the time. It was a strategy that highlighted Ieyasu's keen understanding of the political landscape and his ability to manipulate it for the greater good. And so, the one country, one castle law stands as a testament to Ieyasu's unique brand of leadership, one that was marked by a keen sense of strategy and an unerring focus on stability and peace. With this law, Ieyasu effectively put a leash on the military expansion of the daimyo, laying the groundwork for a peaceful era. Next, let's explore the Tokusei Ordinance, a policy aimed at improving the lives of the common people. This ingenious policy implemented by Ieyasu was a masterstroke in fostering economic prosperity and social stability during the early Edo period. The Tokusei Ordinance was, in essence, a tax reform policy. The primary goal was to lighten the burden on the common people, particularly the farming communities that made up the backbone of the Japanese economy. By reducing taxes, Ieyasu aimed to provide farmers with more disposable income, enabling them to lead more stable lives. But the Tokusei Ordinance wasn't just about reducing taxes. It also sought to stabilize grain prices. You see, grain was the currency of the day, and fluctuating grain prices could spell disaster for both the economy and the people. By controlling grain prices, Ieyasu ensured a steady income for farmers and predictable food prices for consumers. This policy was a bit like killing two birds with one stone. Not only did it improve the lives of the farming communities, but it also fostered economic development for society as a whole. With stable grain prices and lower taxes, farmers were able to invest more in their land and equipment, which in turn boosted agricultural productivity. This increased productivity led to surpluses, which were then traded, stimulating economic activity and prosperity. But the benefits of the Tokusei Ordinance extended beyond the economy. By improving the standard of living for the common people, this policy played a crucial role in fostering social stability. Happy, prosperous farmers were less likely to rebel or cause trouble, reducing the factors of social instability. Indeed, the Tokusei Ordinance was a testament to Ieyasu's foresight and understanding of the intricate link between economic prosperity and social stability. By improving the lives of the common people, this policy not only fostered economic development, but also eliminated factors of social instability. Through this policy, Ieyasu eliminated factors of social instability, contributing to the stability of the shogunate. This is a perfect example of how the right policy can lead to a win-win situation for both the people and the government. Ieyasu wasn't just about laws and taxes, he was also about social reform. In his pursuit of a peaceful and stable era, Ieyasu implemented what we would call a social reform policy. This policy, born from the chaos of the Sengoku period, was aimed at suppressing the thugs and violent elements that threatened the social order. Picture a time of unrest, where violence was commonplace and ordinary citizens lived in fear. Ieyasu sought to change that. He aimed to improve security, stabilize the region, and make life safer for ordinary citizens. But how did he go about this? Well, he took a two-pronged approach. Firstly, he sought to suppress those who disturbed the peace. Thugs and violent elements were dealt with swiftly and decisively. Whether through imprisonment, community service, or more severe punishments, these individuals were made to answer for their actions. This strong stance sent a clear message to those who would disrupt the peace. Their actions would not be tolerated. Secondly, Ieyasu worked to stabilize the region. He realized that a stable society was a peaceful society, so he focused on building infrastructure, promoting trade, and encouraging economic growth. The prosperity of the region grew, and with it, the well-being of its citizens. The effects of this social reform policy were profound. Security improved, the region stabilized, and life became safer for ordinary citizens. People could go about their daily lives without the constant fear of violence. They could work, trade, and live in peace. This newfound stability led to an increase in economic activity, further enhancing the prosperity of the region. And so, in a time of unrest, Ieyasu's social reform policy brought peace and stability. It suppressed the violent elements that threatened the social order, and it laid the groundwork for a prosperous and peaceful era. This is the legacy of Tokugawa Ieyasu, a shogun who understood that a peaceful society was not just about laws and taxes, but also about social reform. By suppressing thugs and violent elements, Ieyasu managed to create a safer environment for his citizens. It's an inspiring testament to the power of thoughtful, comprehensive policymaking. How do you ensure a balance of power within a shogunate? Ieyasu had an answer: the five elders system and the Gosankyo system. In the early Edo period, the concept of balance was pivotal to maintaining peace and stability. Tokugawa Ieyasu, a shrewd and strategic shogun, introduced two systems that would ensure a well-regulated distribution of power within his reign. First, we delve into the five elders system. This was a council of 5 of Ieyasu's most trusted aides, each holding a significant position within the shogunate. It was a strategy masterminded by the shogun to level the playing field among the daimyo, preventing any single lord from amassing too much power. This system was an essential tool in creating stability within the shogunate, ensuring everyone had a voice, and no single entity could tip the scales out of balance. Next, we have the Gosankyo system. This was a system of preferential treatment, where distinguished feudal lords and members of the Tokugawa clan were granted privileges. These were the individuals who had proven their loyalty to Ieyasu and held important roles within the shogunate. By granting them special privileges, Ieyasu strengthened his control over the shogunate, ensuring his trusted allies were content and less likely to revolt. These systems worked hand in hand to maintain a balance of power. The Five Elders system ensured a democratic distribution of power, while the Gosankyo system ensured loyalty to the shogun through preferential treatment. It was a delicate balancing act, but one that Ieyasu navigated with finesse. The result was a peaceful and stable era, where power struggles were minimized, and the shogunate could focus on societal growth and prosperity. These systems represented the shrewdness and tactical brilliance of Tokugawa Ieyasu, showing how he was not only a warrior but also a skilled statesman. His policies fostered a harmonious environment within the shogunate, a testament to his foresight and understanding of human nature. These systems allowed for a well-balanced distribution of power, avoiding unstable situations within the shogunate. Ieyasu's influence extended to religious institutions as well, with the establishment of temple and shrine magistrates. Tokugawa Ieyasu, ever the strategist, understood that to maintain a stable rule, he needed to manage not just the military and economic aspects of society, but also its spiritual fabric. This led him to establish the temple and shrine magistrates, a unique measure to strengthen the management of these religious institutions. The magistrates served as representatives of the shogunate in temples and shrines, playing a crucial role in maintaining social order and harmony. These magistrates were not merely administrators, they were the custodians of religious protocol and the upholders of the sanctity of these establishments. Their responsibilities were vast, ranging from managing the day-to-day affairs of the temples and shrines to ensuring the smooth conduct of religious ceremonies and festivals. But their roles extended beyond the spiritual. They also served as the eyes and ears of the shogunate in these religious institutions, keeping a check on any potential power accumulation or economic expansion that could potentially challenge the shogunate's authority. The establishment of temple and shrine magistrates was a masterstroke in Ieyasu's grand plan. It allowed him to keep a firm grip on the religious institutions, ensuring they did not turn into hotbeds of dissent or rebellion. They were, in essence, an extension of Ieyasu's governance, contributing significantly to the maintenance of local peace and order. Through this ingenious system, Ieyasu was able to strike a delicate balance. On the one hand, he allowed the temples and shrines to carry out their spiritual duties unhindered, thus maintaining the faith and devotion of the populace. On the other hand, he ensured these institutions did not become too powerful, thereby safeguarding his rule. Through this, Ieyasu was able to control the power and economic expansion of temples and shrines, further stabilizing his rule. The establishment of temple and shrine magistrates served as another testament to Tokugawa Ieyasu's far-sightedness and his ability to create a stable and peaceful era. Scene script. Last but not least, let's talk about how Ieyasu encouraged the development of commerce and the townspeople. Tokugawa Ieyasu was not only a military strategist, but also an astute economist. Recognizing the importance of a thriving economy for a stable society, he placed significant emphasis on the growth of commerce and the prosperity of townspeople. His economic policies were designed to foster the rise of the merchant class, fueling the economic engine of the Edo period. Ieyasu established markets and town divisions in Edo, the heart of his shogunate. These markets became bustling hubs of trade and commerce, drawing in both local and foreign merchants. The town divisions, on the other hand, organized the city into manageable units, each with its own unique blend of commerce and culture. This urban planning reflected Ieyasu's foresight in creating a well-structured city that could sustain economic growth. But Ieyasu's support didn't stop at urban planning. He also extended privileges to merchants and handicraftsmen, the backbone of the Edo economy. These privileges included tax breaks, rights to form guilds, and protections under the law. This was a clear departure from the social norms of the time, as merchants and craftsmen were traditionally seen as the lowest class in the social hierarchy. Ieyasu's policies paid off. The merchant class flourished, and with it came the prosperity of cities. The townspeople, once relegated to the lower rungs of society, found themselves at the heart of a bustling economy. The growth of commerce brought prosperity to the city, leading to a vibrant urban culture that was distinctive of the Edo period. But more than just economic prosperity, Ieyasu's policies also led to social stability. With a thriving economy, the townspeople were less likely to resort to rebellion or crime, contributing to the overall peace and order of the shogunate. By supporting merchants and handicraftsmen, Ieyasu managed to build a stable society with a thriving economy. This is a testament to the enduring impact of Ieyasu's economic policies, which laid the groundwork for the prosperity and stability of the Edo period. So, what have we learned today? We've delved into the life and policies of the influential Japanese shogun, Tokugawa Ieyasu. He implemented the One Country, One Castle Ordinance to limit military expansion, which laid the foundation for a peaceful era. The Tokusei Ordinance was another significant policy that reduced taxes and stabilized grain prices, leading to economic development and social stability. Through his social reform policy, he aimed to eliminate the chaos of the Sengoku period by suppressing thugs and violent individuals, thus creating a safer environment for ordinary citizens. The Five Elders and Gosankyo systems were introduced to balance power within the shogunate and strengthen Ieyasu's control. He also restrained the power of temples and shrines by establishing temple and shrine magistrates, while the promotion of commerce and townspeople led to the prosperity of cities and the growth of the merchant class. From the One Country, One Castle Ordinance to the support of the townspeople, it's clear that Ieyasu's policies were instrumental in shaping the peaceful era of the Edo period. Thanks for joining us in this exploration of history.